Hi to all of the artists, art lovers, and all of us who are currently stuck in our house during the outbreak of COVID-19. It is March 27th, 2020, and I am going to talk about art. A lot of the rules have changed for all of us. We are doing things we've never done before and not doing things that we are used to doing. If you're an artist, you know that a lot of the shows that you've been preparing for all winter are now up in the air. Many have been postponed, some have been canceled, and some have just changed their format, moving from an outdoor festival, for example, to an online show. None of us know how that will go, whether or not people actually tune in to look at these online shows rather than going to a fun outdoor festival in the spring and summer. So we'll find out. Again, we're doing things differently, and people may be looking for things to do and may embrace those kind of changes, or they may not. So either way, what I thought I would do is just make a few videos and talk about my artwork, which is pours, like what you see behind me. Thank goodness for art when you're stuck in the house, because you always have something to do as long as you have supplies and ideas. So I've been staying busy getting a lot of work done. Digital communication has become very popular while people are stuck inside. I've seen artists of all types, including musicians. Got to see Dave Matthews do a live from his home or from his studio concert last night, which was a lot of fun. I've seen Melissa Etheridge, Coldplay, and I would imagine that a lot of visual artists will be doing the same. So I'm going to be talking about the pours that are basically meant for shows this summer that may or may not be seen. Been working since last fall trying to get things ready for this summer, and so I have a lot of artwork to show and to share. I'm going to be talking about the process of pours. A lot of people don't really understand what they are, how they're done. So I'll be doing a little bit of demoing and talking about the process and the stories behind the pours. They all have a story. A lot of times their title will reflect what's going on in our world today, whether it's politics. It could be a song that I'm listening to while I'm working on a pour. It could be about the coronavirus, which this one kind of is, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to talk about mistakes and whether or not mistakes really are mistakes, or if they're just happy mistakes and things that you can work with and kind of get by. And we'll also do a little bit of what do you see to help you understand the process of seeing the shapes in the pours, and you may come up with an idea that I love that I end up using when I am creating that pour. So this pour behind me is a Guinness beer pour, and you can see how some of the Guinness is left untouched. That's that light brown that you see. All of these lines, these brown lines, are where the beer kind of poured across the page. When I work on a pour, I work from the shapes that are made from the beer or the wine. Why beer or wine? Is it just a gimmick? No. I like the way the beer and the wine look on the bright white watercolor paper. I have to use a very dark beer like Guinness or Dogfish Head Worldwide Stout, a milk stout, anything that's very dark and very dark brown, anything that's very light, like a Miller Lite, a Coors Light, it just won't show up. Same with wine, there are so many different types of red wine. There's Pinot Noir, there's Cabernet, there's a great new wine that I discovered that's Gnarly Head black wine. It's not really black, but it is very, very, very deep purple, and it shows up on the watercolor paper beautifully. So for me, the color of the beer and the wine against the white paper is really compelling. I like beer and wine. Can't drink it like I used to, but I still have a little bit here and there. And it's something that a lot of people do love. We socialize with beer and wine. We have parties that have beer and wine. So it's also a way to connect with people with something that does bring us together. So this one I had originally thought would be for, there's a couple of juried shows out there where the theme is spring, including one for the District Arts Gallery, which is in Frederick, Maryland. The theme of that was Spring Fling. So I was pouring and hoping, and that's all you can do when you're pouring, hoping that I would find something that was spring-like that I could work from and enter in that show. So what I saw, actually what my stepson saw and then I saw, was this big flower back here. So that's where I started. I just started to define the center of the flower and then began to work on the petals. This little guy here was initially going to be kind of a fairy, like a garden fairy, and he ended up being some kind of bumblebee human fairy thing. That's how pours go. So he has his black and yellow bumblebee suit on, and there's flowers. Here's a bird with some crazy long legs made from the Guinness. Little butterfly and a bunch of leaves. So while I was working on this, of course, this one took probably 5 or 6 days. This took a while because there's so much detail in it. And it's so big. This is a 30 by 40, so this is the biggest sheet of watercolor paper that I can find that is any decent weight. This is 300 pound. Typically I work on 400 pound, but they don't make 400 pound and 30 by 40. So this took me a while, and since it was being done during this quarantine, I called it Spring in the Time of COVID-19, and that is kind of a twist on Love in the Time of Cholera. And I'm only familiar with that book through a movie called Serendipity, and it's referenced in that movie several times. So I have a connection with the name of that book through one of my favorite movies, and so now it has become part of this pour, which did sell today. So anyway, that's enough for now, and hopefully tomorrow I will do another little shorter chat about another pour that is meant for a show in one form or the other. Stay healthy, stay well, and stay creative. Bye.